Hello, I'm Dan Tetlow, a risk manager in Crown Commercial Services Energy team. I'm joined by our risk analyst, Michael Prince. Today, Michael will give you an overview of how we purchase energy and the choice of strategies available based on your organization's appetite for risk. I will then take you through the measures and controls we have in place to ensure our strategies meet their stated objectives. I'll now hand over to Michael.
The CCS energy team takes an approach of progressive forward hedging to set the commodity element of energy bills on behalf of our customers. This means purchasing gas and electricity contracts that will be delivered over a specific period in the future, such as next month, June of 2024, quarter two of 2025, and so on. We're currently buying energy for delivery as far as March of 2027. Forward hedging allows us to enter the market many times in advance of forecast energy use, spreading the risk of price movements in the wholesale markets. By varying the advanced purchasing window over which we spread purchasing, we're able to target different strategic aims and meet the diverse needs and risk appetites of our customers. This forms the foundation of the 5 strategies currently offered by CCS. Our 5 strategies can be split into 2 broad types. These are our lock baskets, in which purchasing is completed before delivery of energy begins and pricing is fixed throughout the whole delivery period, and our variable baskets, which allow purchasing ahead of time and throughout the delivery window, with monthly reconciliations that means price can vary month on month. Our lock baskets are designated with an L prefix and our variable baskets with a V prefix. Both locked and variable options are offered in our short and long-term strategies. Our shorter term strategies are more reflective of the market at the time of purchasing, which means that if the market drops, these shorter term strategies will see the biggest drops in price. But if the market price rises, these strategies will also see the biggest increase in price. In contrast, our longer term strategies with purchasing spread over a longer period have more price stability, as traders can wait out short-lived market volatility. There's no requirement for both your energy and gas meters to be in the same strategy. If it suits your organization, you could have your power in a long-term variable strategy and your gas in our shortest term locked strategy. The L6 has purchasing begin 6 months in advance of the start of delivery, and it must all be completed before the start of that delivery. Therefore, it has a purchasing window of 6 months, as we can see in the chart. We also offer L6 baskets that begin delivery in October, with purchasing starting 6 months earlier in April. The L6 has the shortest purchasing window of any of our baskets. The large aggregated demand means the team can transact many times to secure the volume across this window, but its relatively short length means that the basket that most closely gives a snapshot of what the wholesale market is doing at a given time. The shorter purchasing window of this basket also means that it has a relatively short commitment period for the customer, which can help with agility of choice, as some customers may not easily be able to approve longer term commitments. Completing the purchasing by the start of the delivery period affords a level of budgetary certainty, as the commodity price is locked in for the full year. The suppliers will still need to build up full rate for the bills, including various non-energy costs such as transmission costs. Our L12 strategy is a mid-term product with the purchasing window starting in April, 1 year prior to the delivery period. Purchasing of our L12 ends 2 months prior to the delivery period. This allows the supplier to produce and lock in a built-up unit rate. As with our L6 product, this strategy allows for budget certainty due to the purchasing being completed before the start of delivery. The longer purchasing window in comparison to the L6 product allows for our traders to have more opportunity to enter the market and secure volume at beneficial times. The L24 is our newest strategy. It's also our longest term locked strategy. It's been created based on the findings of significant engagement to identify the needs of customers. We're currently buying the L24 baskets delivering in 2024 and 2025. The long purchasing window means that the team will enter the market at multiple points over a longer time span, working to spread the risk. This will also result in increased year-on-year price stability compared to the shorter baskets, which I'll elaborate more on shortly. Like the L12, this strategy also aims to complete purchasing a few months prior to the start of delivery, allowing suppliers to provide a fully built up rate in time for April. The V6 is the shorter term of our variable strategies. To reiterate, the variable means that the term is not required to purchase all of the forecast volume ahead of the start of delivery, but can continue buying throughout the year. This strategy suits those with a slightly higher risk appetite. It can give access to prices with lower risk premiums, but also leaves more volume exposed if the market price increases. V6 customers receive reconciliations throughout the year, with the commodity cost moving as purchasing continues. The V6 has the same start date as the L6, 6 months ahead of delivery, but as buying continues throughout the delivery year, the purchasing windows is actually quite a bit wider, meaning that the achieved price is less of a snapshot of a short period of market activity. The V30 strategy is the strategy with the widest buying window. Purchasing begins 30 months ahead of the start of delivery, and being a variable basket, it can continue throughout the delivery year. Effectively, this creates a purchasing window of up to 42 months. The principal aim of the V30 strategy is year-on-year price stability. This is achieved via a long term of the purchasing window, with purchasing taking place for at least 3 years of V30 baskets at any one time. By overlapping the basket, the buying for these baskets, the effect of market moves over time is smoothed out. The specific contracts being bought are different, e.g. summer 2024 and summer 2025 gas contracts will have different prices, but they are highly correlated and will generally all be affected by significant market factors. All customers who have opted for the same strategy in a given delivery period are grouped together in what we call a basket. The forecast demands for all customer sites in the basket are aggregated into a total volume forecast, creating a demand shape. This shape tells the trading team how much they will need to buy over the purchasing window. There are many benefits of aggregating customer demand like this. For example, as there is a very large demand required to be traded, it allows us to enter the market repeatedly across the purchasing window. Each basket is a collection of customers that are being delivered during a specific 12-month period for a specific commodity and on a chosen strategy. For example, our gas April 24 L6 basket, which will begin delivery in April 2024, contains all customers who've opted for our L6 short-term lock strategy for their gas demand. A single basket contains a variety of different customers, such as hospitals, schools, libraries, prisons, and more.
Hello, it's Dan again. As members of the risk team, our principal responsibility is to ensure that each strategy is delivered to meet the objectives we've described, while managing the risk of trading in volatile wholesale markets, protecting the budgets of our customers. We operate in tandem with an external risk and governance board composed of panelists selected to represent the variety of different customer sectors in the CCS portfolio. For example, local councils, hospitals, universities, etc. The various customers that make up baskets. The board meets at least quarterly and provides oversight and challenge of all trading activity. The risk team's approach combines active monitoring of the portfolio with mechanistic measures and controls. This is formalized in our core risk policy, implemented with the oversight and approval of the governance board. Any amendments to the policy or deviation from its processes may only be made with review and authorization from the governance board. The mechanistic controls are designed to balance the assurance of strategic delivery and protection against the risk of rising market prices, while still allowing latitude for our trading team to utilize their expertise and optimize purchasing. I'll now give you an overview of these controls. Perhaps the most fundamental control in delivering the agreed strategies is the simple start and end date for the purchasing window for each basket. This sets the scope for the progressive hedging strategies that we've described. For example, the purchasing start date for an L6 basket is 6 months before the start of the delivery year, and as a locked basket, the purchasing end date is that start of the delivery year, ensuring that all of the energy has been bought in advance. The chart there demonstrates the variety of purchasing windows created by these basket start and basket end dates. Next control I'll cover is the purchasing channel. This controls the minimum and maximum permitted cover levels for each basket throughout its purchasing window between those start and end dates. As shown in the diagram, this channel provides assurance that purchasing is spread out across that window, delivering the agreed progressive hedging strategy. However, the trading team still has scope between these maximums and minimums to utilize their expertise and make decisions in the optimal way to complete that purchasing. The maximum permitted cover level increases at the start of every month for our short-term baskets, but for our longer-term baskets, it happens twice a year at the start of April and the start of October. Again, this gives the trading team latitude in their decision-making while it's still providing that assurance of strategic delivery. For all of our baskets, the minimum cover level increases every month, and this also serves to mitigate the risk of severe market price increases. As we saw throughout 2022, prices can move up to extreme levels very quickly, so this protection is very important. Stop loss triggers are a simple but effective control for protecting against that upside risk as well. They're intended to remove uncertainty should prices increase, locking in volume at or below a known price, ultimately limiting our exposure to a rising market. Stop losses act as a trigger price, which we set at a level above the market price at the time a basket opens or when we reset the stop losses, the risk team's discretion due to changing conditions. Each day, we track the current value of the basket, including both bought and outstanding volume against its stop loss. We include extra headroom in the form of a value at risk measure, which is simply estimating how far prices are likely to rise in the time it would take to complete any required purchasing. Once the basket price plus this value at risk reaches the trigger, our risk policy mandates for a certain amount of volume to be purchased as soon as possible. In most cases, this requirement is effectively all of the open volume for the basket. Stop losses require, however, certain market conditions to be effective. Firstly, the market must be sufficiently liquid, and this means we need to reasonably expect there to be enough availability in the market that if the stop loss was triggered, it would be remotely possible to complete the purchasing that we're mandating. Secondly, typical day-on-day price movements need to be sufficiently stable to ensure that stop losses wouldn't be triggered spuriously. We need to have reasonable confidence that if rising prices hit the trigger, it's because of a trend rooted in the fundamentals of the market and not ongoing volatile day-on-day price movements that reflect business as usual. Due to the current market conditions precipitated by the energy crisis last year, we currently do not consider the market conditions to be appropriate to run stop loss triggers for our baskets and have therefore suspended their use as hard controls. However, we are still setting and measuring the stop losses as a tool in our active decision making. For more information on this topic, please refer to our video, Managing Liquidity and Volatility. At a portfolio level, we also measure the total amount spent by the trading team over time and ensure that it does not exceed a weekly limit. All transactions, whether they are buy or sell transactions, are counted towards this limit. If the trading team intends to exceed it, the head of trading may authorize limited additional allowance, and the external governance board will be required to approve any further additional allowance. At different times, we may be needing to implement temporary controls as a response to developments in the market. These controls are proposed to the governance board along with a rationale and are only implemented with their approval. Over time, we may embed a temporary control into the core policy. Again, this would require the approval of the governance board. For instance, the minimum buying requirements, now a key part of our purchasing channel, as I've outlined, originated as a temporary buying schedule control implemented last year when we suspended those hard stop loss controls. The stop loss suspension is still in force as a temporary measure with regular board review. And the minimum requirements I've just described has been formalized into our central policy, into that purchasing channel. Okay, thank you for your time. I hope this session has been informative. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us using the email info@crowncommercial.gov.uk.